if you didn't hear, Turtle WoW wrote a open letter to Blizzard Entertainment. An open letter to Blizzard, our community's appeal for a licensing framework for fan-run WoW servers. Turtle WoW wants to make themselves legit. And I find this actually interesting. Someone in the stream asked me yesterday, so the day before this was posted, hey Czar, would you play Turtle WoW if they made it legit? And I gave them the response, if Turtle WoW went to Blizzard and got it licensed and did it legitimately, and it was okay to stream the servers and they were legit, I would play. I said that on stream yesterday, and then this morning, Turtle WoW tweets this, which is crazy. I did say yes, I would play if it was legit, right? Obviously, I'm not going to play something that's against the rules, against the TOS, against Blizzard TOS, against Twitch TOS. Like, no, I'm not going to play. But if it's legit, I mean, yeah. If it's backed by Blizzard saying like, hey, we're gonna license this to you, and we can have basically fan-run private servers, and that's fine, then yeah, I would play, of course. Let's take a look at what they actually said. This is gonna be a long read, but I think this will be a good one. Dear Blizzard Entertainment, we're Turtle WoW, a group of fans who love World of Warcraft and share a lifelong dream of contributing to its development. The Mysteries of Azeroth, our content expansion, is a collective effort of our community members, writers, developers, 3D modelers, composers, voice actors, game designers, artists, and radio DJs, each pouring their soul and skills into creating an environment where others can experience the vision we all share through expanding and adding onto the universe you have created. They're saying, man, we've put a lot of work into this stuff and we love it, and we are a group of fans that love WoW, and we just want to make it the best it can be. During the 7 years we've been online, we've worked towards finding the right recipe to add an element of replayability to the natural progression of an MMO world. So, I mean, that's the key right there, right? Classic WoW owns, but it ends. We want a natural progression of Classic WoW, right? That's why everyone wants Classic Plus. It's like, this game is amazing, but it ends. And once it ends, everyone quits. So we want more. Every update brings fresh areas to explore, new ways to engage, leveling challenges that require players to approach the experience with creativity and strategy. I mean, it's all great stuff. We've talked about this. While the hard-earned progress they've fought for remains valuable as the game continues to evolve, right? And that's what old school RuneScape offers, right? It's like, we're not going to devalue the stuff you've put in for years, but we're going to put in new stuff to experience the game in new ways. The response from our community has been nothing short of positive and heartwarming. Yeah, people like Turtle WoW, man, from what I've heard. Cool. Our players have consistently expressed that it feels like a home that always welcomes players back. Yeah, like people, I've heard like generally good things about Turtle WoW. I've heard mixed things about a lot of other private servers, because like they went too far, or like they get sued and get shut down. It's like a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. But like, I've heard some decent stuff about Turtle WoW. Many successful games have a modding community. That's true. Like that's very true, right? Like you look at projects like Skyblivion, I mean, you look at like Dota with like Warcraft 3, yeah, that's very true. Fallout 4 has like, what's that website with all the mods for Fallout, like all the like Fallout games and Oblivion games, Nexus mods, it's crazy. Yo, Crackers, thanks for the tier 1, appreciate it. It is a part of gaming culture and a testament to the game's quality and the community's passion. To be fair, all those games are single player games, not MMOs. The World of Warcraft modding community. Interesting. They're calling it like a modding community, which is like an interesting way to frame it, because private servers in my mind are a bit different than mods. Mods are like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but mods to me seem more of like a single player mod, whereas like hosting your own private server seems like a bit different than a mod. But they're going off the modding framework, which is like an interesting word choice here. Yeah, I don't know about that one. As more tools become available, it will only continue to grow. Everything your devoted fans create enriches the game universe with diverse perspectives and innovative ideas. Your storytelling has inspired this creativity, and we hope that Blizzard embraces fan-driven content as its own legacy rather than alienate this passionate community. Ooh, see, this gets really sticky and really tricky really fast. So far in this letter, I'm going to keep reading, but like getting to this point, I'd say there's an approximate 0% chance Blizzard agrees to this. I wouldn't even say 1. This is 0. This This is a PR stunt from Turtle WoW to say, hey, look, at least we're trying. And Blizzard's the one saying, no, not us. Blizzard's the one saying, no, not us. That's what this is, right? Like, there's a 0% chance Blizzard says, sure, like, no. Anyway, let's keep reading. Let's get a drink of water first. Unfortunately, unlike other studios, Blizzard does not have a framework that allows projects like ours to operate without risking legal conflict. So, in some other shutdown MMOs, you can get official licensing deals. Usually this is for MMOs that have been shut down in the past. We watched a video on it last week. I can't remember the exact MMO that did this, but there has been instances where an MMO was up and thriving. Obviously it was dated, it gets shut down, and then the MMO gets licensed to basically a private server to use their stuff to keep the legacy running. This is not that. Essentially working on a Classic Plus, not announced, but pretty much announced. This is direct competition to the official thing. This is way different. So yeah, I just don't see them ever, like, if there was no Classic WoW and Blizzard didn't plan on ever touching Classic WoW, and Blizzard could license it to Turtle WoW for, tens of millions of dollars or whatever, I could see them maybe thinking about it. But no, that's not the case. That's not what's going on here. Okay, let's keep reading. With that in mind, we respectfully ask that Blizzard consider establishing a formal ecosystem for licensing fan-run community servers. Dude, there's no way, bro. Like I said, yeah, I'm going to keep reading, but dude, this is literally just like Turtle WoW being able to say we tried. Like, there's no way, bro. Oh, man. Hey, man. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do. Like, yeah, I mean, like I said, if they make it official and it's not against TOS and like, yeah, I think a lot of people would play. Like, it's worth a shot, I guess. But like, there's just no way, bro. On behalf of our community, we can say that all players would be deeply grateful if you would consider working with fan communities like ours to create a clear, lawful pathway. I can respect them for like saying, look, we want to try to do this right. I think Turtle WoW it's a PR thing, right? Hey, look, we're trying to do this the right way, and Blizzard's saying no to us, versus they're flipping it, right? Instead of we're stealing their IP and we're trying to skirt the law, kind of a thing. By fostering an ecosystem for modders, it's interesting they're calling it modding, because modding is verbiage that's more accepted, especially in games like single player RPGs. Like, modding is like a normal thing. I definitely don't think modding is the right word here. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys think modding is the wrong word? It's not modding at all. Modding equals stealing the game. Like, you guys agree with me? Okay, yeah. Modding just is a really weird word choice here. This isn't really modding. That's just so interesting, because I think they're using this because it's like a really, really accepted verbiage for gamers to mod things. Blizzard can continue to oversee and control its progress while encouraging fan-driven innovation. This approach would not only enhance gameplay experience, but also strengthen the bonds between developers and players. I mean, I think that's true. I mean, I think if Blizzard actually said yes, a lot of people would be like, oh, sick, now we can actually play this legit, including myself. It would be like, oh, wow. But like, there is no way, man. There's no way, because Blizzard is going to directly compete with this by launching Classic Plus officially, right? Let's keep reading. I think there's a second. Oh, they give some precedents. Cool. Okay, these are some great examples. We talked about Bethesda with Skyrim. I think Battlefront 2 was maybe the one I was thinking about. But let's read. So other successful studios have shown how rewarding a well-structured community server ecosystem can be. Cool. So this is some we watched a video last week that kind of highlighted a lot of these examples. And it is cool to look at like history and look at like, okay, what's worked and what hasn't worked, and like what instances have these things worked in. Daybreak Game Community provides legal permission for Project 99, a private server that faithfully recreates classic EverQuest. This might have been the one we were thinking of too. The partnership is confirmed by an official statement and discussed openly. So I think the difference here, okay, someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but this doesn't exist outside of the fan-made system. And the reason they're allowing it is because they're not competing with it directly. It's like if the fan-made private server didn't exist, it doesn't exist at all. Oh, it does still exist. People are saying it does still exist for EverQuest. Okay, so maybe I am thinking of maybe Battlefront 2. Okay, so just so I am understanding, a private server that faithfully recreates the classic EverQuest. So Project 1999 is basically, just so I'm understanding correctly, is basically like an EverQuest Plus, and they're allowing it separately from their classic EverQuest servers. It's just EverQuest Classic. And you guys are telling me there's an official EverQuest Classic, and for whatever reason, they're also allowing Project 1999 to exist. Because I do want to wrap my mind around this. It's EverQuest Classic, but they don't have a Classic EverQuest. The Classic that, is there an EQ Classic? Time lock progression servers? No, TLP is like Classic Plus, which is official. 99 is just Classic. So Classic, so EverQuest, the official EverQuest is like a Classic, an EverQuest Plus experience. But for people that want how it just was with no changes, they can go to this private server. Is that correct? There is no official vanilla. The official is the Plus. Okay, so I think I have that right. Okay, I have that right. So that is interesting that they allow... Okay, so this is like a decent example of a precedent, except it's the opposite precedent. It's like if Blizzard was doing a Classic Plus, and then Turtle WoW was like, hey, look, we want just no changes. That's what it would be like. But it's really the opposite. WoW has the original, Turtle WoW has the plus part, and so this is like the opposite. So that's interesting. Okay, next, Rockstar partnered with 5M platform that enables community run multiple player servers that use Rockstar GTA 5's engine while adhering to a licensing agreement that permits custom game modes, role-playing worlds. So this is like, crap. What are the GTA servers that all the streamers play on? Like GTA, No Pixel, right? This is like No Pixel and stuff. I feel like this is a little bit different. Why is this different? It seems like a custom like Rust world or something, or like a GTA world. Like do you still have to buy the game through this to be able to play on? I feel like the monetization models feel like way different here. Yeah, you still have to buy GTA and there's no sub fee, right? If I have this correct, you still have to buy GTA and there's no sub fee. So it's just like connecting to a different server. Is that, I think that seems like a little different. I don't know if that like example really holds true. Okay, next up. NCSoft grants a licensing to the homecoming private server project City of Heroes. This is one of the ones we watched in the video last week. Allowing the community to continue operating the MMO under a clear legal agreement that protects the IP and player accounts. So does City of Heroes exist outside of the homecoming private server? I don't think it does. No. Okay. So this one makes a lot of sense to me. NCSoft had City of Heroes. They shut it down. This might have been the one we were thinking of. And then the private server is like, hey, there's some people that still like this. Maybe there's like a couple hundred or a couple thousand people that just like love this game, or maybe even more than that. I don't know. And they just like bring it up, and NCSoft's like, okay, yeah, we can license it to you. Like, let's make this like an official, unofficial thing. Like this makes sense. Like this one makes sense. Once again, very different than Turtle WoW, because WoW is clearly building Classic Plus. I would say like this is the opposite of what we're talking about. This is fundamentally different for monetization models, and this one is different as well because City of Heroes is gone. Let's look at this one. Bethesda has long supported Skyrim mods. Okay, so we talked about Bethesda and Skyrim, Oblivion. By the way, huge fan of these games. And when I did my last playthrough, I used mods myself. This is completely different, right? You still have to, one, buy the game, and two, you it's a single player RPG. It's just fundamentally different. There's no sub fee. You still have to buy the game, and you're modding a single player experience. This one is a little silly. Next up, Valve opened the Source engine to the public, a decision that birthed enduring titles such as Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2. I'm surprised they didn't put Warcraft 3 and Dota here as well. I feel like modding game modes, like with Warcraft 3 and Dota, is like way different than a private server of a game that you normally have to buy and have a sub fee for. I feel like these are just not like it's like, it kind of seems like a stretch here, right? This seems kind of like a stretch. This is just like complete, like all of these seem like different frameworks so far. So Epic Games introduced creative mode in Fortnite. Once again, this seems like a stretch. This is like, okay, look, you can build your own maps. You can kind of like be creative within Fortnite. This would be like if if Blizzard didn't license to Turtle WoW, but if Blizzard added a creative mode to WoW, so you could make your own kind of stuff, within WoW. That's just like, so I feel like these are all just like very, very different examples. Microsoft and Mojang allows third-party servers such as Hypixel, Mineplex, and other players to host multiplayer experiences built on the Minecraft engine. These servers operate under a clear licensing regimen, generate massive player engagement, and extend the life of core products. Is Minecraft cost? How much is Minecraft? It's $30 or deluxe for 40. So I assume the monetization model would make sense here, where you buy Minecraft for like $30 and then you can. It's like, yeah, you could create things to. It's very similar to like the GTA 5 situation, right? You guys hear Kai? He really wants to play Turtle WoW. You buy Minecraft and no step. Okay, let's look at the last one. Battlefront 2 with EA. Cooperated with community projects like Kyber to fix server-side exploits. As its lead engineer later joined EA itself. Although no formal licensing announcement exists, this cooperation illustrates how a publisher and a fan-run server can work together on security and stability. Does Star Wars Battlefront 2 exist without Kyber? I think it does, right? I thought that was outside my house. No, that was my son. He was excited or not excited. I think not excited. It does. Okay, so it does exist. Okay. I'm a little less familiar with this last one. I'm going to just say I really appreciate Turtle WoW putting some type of precedent list together and having it here. I like that. That's nice. But when you go through each one, none of them are a directly one-to-one correlation to like the situation with Blizzard and private servers. None of them, not one. Every single one is a stretch. And it's like, it's not really modding and it's not really like hosting your own server. It's like monetization models are different. Like the whole thing just doesn't make sense for any of these examples. So I'm going to say like none of this makes any sense really. Anyway, let's keep reading. These examples illustrate that when a clear licensing framework and technical safeguards are in place, fan-run servers can extend a franchise's lifespan. So like, I guess I disagree that like you can come to this conclusion based on these examples. I do appreciate them getting the examples together, but I'm not going to agree with that conclusion for Blizzard, but I would agree with that conclusion for like maybe these specific examples. Why it matters to Blizzard. A licensed framework for fan-run servers would extend WoW's active audience by bringing back players who have drifted away from the official game in search of niche experiences that mainstream releases can accommodate. So, in a world where, like I said, I already said this, but I'll repeat myself. In a world where Blizzard decides officially we are not doing Classic Plus, this is not something we want to take on. This is a project that is not interesting for us, but we have a community that loves it. I could see in that world where it would make sense for Blizzard to say, look, we'll license it to you for tens of millions of dollars. You guys can do it through this license and, have fun with it, right? I could see Blizzard doing that, but they have already basically announced that they're doing this. So like, no, that's not right. Like they're not going to just say like, oh, directly compete with us with our own IP officially. Like it wouldn't make any sense. Community crafted mods, lol, fill those gaps, offering gameplay that appeal to smaller, passionate audiences. This not only keeps the overall player base larger and more diverse, but also gives Blizzard a source of successful concepts that can be identified and integrated into future official content. I mean, in terms of this, it gives Blizzard a source of successful concepts that can be integrated in the future official content. They're gonna do that for sure. They're gonna yoink all of Turtle WoW's good ideas. It's like they did the same with Nostalrius. Right? It's like, okay, this is working. The proof of concept is there. The proof of product is there. Now let's develop it officially. Yeah, they're going to do that, but they're going to do it officially. And they're not going to... we are open to any licensing structure that fits Blizzard's risk management and financial guidelines should Blizzard wish to move forward. We stand ready to adapt and meet whatever technical, security, and data privacy standards you require. Okay, I mean, they're serious. For the past 7 years, our players have poured their countless hours into building character and stories that make Turtle WoW into a living, ever-changing world. Those memories and progress are priceless to us and the people who call our servers home. A licensing framework, we give them a permanent protected home so every character member can continue to live on without the fear of being lost. Right, and that's the big problem with private servers, right? other than they're against TOS and you can't stream them and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I think a lot of people do fear that. It's like, why would I waste my time on something unofficial if it could be deleted one day? Not that it will be, but that it could be. What's the point, right? So if Turtle WoW actually got this approved by Blizzard, Turtle WoW would be massive. If Blizzard was just like, sure, which they wouldn't, but if they did, Turtle WoW would 10x, bro. That would be nuts. We look forward to the day you embrace the opportunity and welcome the chance to begin a dialogue, offering any support needed to bring this program to life. Okay, guys, there it is. I haven't read chat. What are you guys thinking? Are you, do you guys think I'm right? Do you guys think I'm wrong? Why? What's going on? This is clearly a PR move from Turtle, like you said, mainly for legal optics. Blizzard can easily respond in a similar way. Yeah, correct. I think Turtle's scared. It's PR talk. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I think the only way Turtle WoW and Blizzard could work together, the only way it would actually work is Blizzard decided to hire the Turtle WoW team or some of their team and make it official under Blizzard. And Turtle WoW shuts down, but the developers get hired by Blizzard and they make it official. That could work. The other thing is if Blizzard decides to completely scrap the Classic Plus project and decides to hand it off, I don't ever see that happening. What are the comments saying? I do love that you guys poked and taunted the bear for years as if you were untouchable. And once the bear took a swipe, you've suddenly decided there needs to be a peaceful coexistence where you've given licensing and permission. I despise present day Blizzard as much as the next guy, but let's have some awareness here, LMAO. True. True. Oh my gosh. A successful Turtle WoW is good for Blizzard. I stopped playing retail, got the itch, logged in Turtle WoW, renewed my interest in retail. I researched to retail, now I'm playing Legion Remix. They're silly if they think Turtle WoW does anything other than help them. It's a different game iteration. It's completely up to Blizzard to make engaging content worthy of a subscription fee. When they do, tons of players will flock back to retail. I don't think this makes any sense here. Turtle WoW as a private server could lead people back to retail. Fine. It did for this guy. But if you make it official, now it's just directly competing with the product they're going to put out, right? Which is Classic Plus, let's just be honest. And that's just like a straight negative, right? Like I don't see that ever being like a win there. Yeah, I don't think that would make any sense at all. Yeah, I don't know if I understand this. Having said that, I think this is why Blizzard should make Classic Plus. This guy explained why Blizzard should make Classic Plus, right? Blizzard should make Classic Plus to funnel people back into retail. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying if you're Blizzard and you're trying to sell Classic Plus to the board, saying, hey, look, board, this is going to be a profitable endeavor for us. We should put time and resources and money into this. This is the reasoning you would say. Look, Classic Plus won't make us money in itself, but it'll funnel people back into retail eventually. Try retail, buy the expansions, and retail is where we make our money. It's the same model that RuneScape uses. They don't make a lot of their money, to my experience, from my knowledge, on old school RuneScape. Even though old school RuneScape has more players, they actually make their money from RuneScape 3. And RuneScape 3 is like the cash cow. Even though there's less people playing it, it's monetized way better. And I think Blizzard could follow suit in a similar way, where Classic Plus doesn't like make them all the money, but it brings tons of players back that played over the last 20 years because, hey, finally we have a Classic Plus. And then maybe you funnel some of them back to retail and make your money that way on the back end. That's how I would sell it to the board, at least, if it was me. RuneScape 3 is 80+% of the revenue, I've heard. Yeah, and there's way less players too. So they make more of their money on a game with way less player base just because it's monetized insanely well. So like that's probably, if they do the same thing with Classic Plus, you just get players back in to, some of them try retail, you monetize through retail, but you keep like the majority of the attention through Classic Plus. I could see that happening. This letter made me LOL so hard. This is really interesting. This is the last thing I expected to wake up to. OSRS brings in subs, which you share between RS3, and RS3 is more monetized. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's my understanding. I'll play this donation again.
I'm all for Blizzard ripping everything from Turtle WoW and just putting it straight in as a CL Plus on their own servers, then building off of that. Turtle WoW is amazing and is better than almost anything Blizzard would think of on their own.
I would hope that Blizzard is taking a lot of notes on what's working and what isn't, because if anything, private servers are an incredibly good indication of that, right? It's a proving ground. It's like a perfect proving ground of what is actually a good idea and what isn't. What has stuck in the private server scene is probably going to be pretty well received if you do it by Blizzard, and what is instantly thrown away or complained about in the private server scene is probably something that you shouldn't experiment with too much. So it's like, we have the data, right? We have what people like. Look at what's successful here, right? They took Melee Hunter from Turtle WoW for SOD. I mean, Melee Hunter was a thing on retail before it was a thing on Turtle WoW. But I'm sure they've taken a lot of things from SOD from Turtle WoW in general, but I don't know if that one. While I like the initiative, part of me worries that they'll just take this and see they admit they infringed on our IP and use this as a justification for all the other servers they're yanking. Oh yeah, do we have any lawyers in the chat? Does this completely ruin Turtle WoW's case in court? That they pretty much admitted. No, maybe that's why they use the word modding. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if this completely just like owned them in court now, because they've pretty much admitted to what they're trying to defend. If it ever gets to court, I don't know. That's an interesting take from Curtis. Trust me, bro, I'm a lawyer. Wow, we have a lot of lawyers in the chat. I'm a lawyer, doesn't look great, but they can make arguments. These are always arguments. Okay. Should do a mail campaign where the community mails chocolate turtles to Blizzard. I'd pay Blizzard to play Turtle WoW. Dude. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I think people have played through Classic over and over again and are bored of it. I mean, there's a core community that will play through Classic over and over again forever. Like the Payos of the world will literally play Classic on every new launch once a year until the day they die. And that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's you, that's awesome. But I think there's a larger amount of people, the majority of people that like love Classic, but you know, have trouble playing it over and over and over and over and over again. Instead, they want new content to their favorite game. That's the concept. So for Season of Discovery, yes, Blizzard did this. And if you look at the SOD numbers, it was fairly successful. They shut it down to work on their next Classic project, which is, you know, let's just call it what it is. It's Classic Plus, right? So yeah, I think you're on the right track there.
We can all agree that retail has been dying for years now. Even if you say you like, it never will be as good as it used to be. It is 100% in Blizzard's best interest to let these be a thing. They could even put them in the launcher and make us get a sub.
I don't know if I follow your line of logic. Retail... I don't like using the word dying, but yeah, retail has less players today than it did 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago was like WoD, so I actually don't even know if that's true. Because WoD was like an all-time low. Anyway, yeah, sure. Blizzard, like overall, the graph is probably like on the downward slope, like kind of like up and down, up every expansion it's up, and then after that it's down. Like sure. I don't like using the word dying. But then you jump to, it is in Blizzard's best interest to let these things be a thing. I don't know how A jumps to B. To me, these are like different lines of logic. That doesn't make much sense from going from one to the other. I think it's in Blizzard's best interest to make a Classic Plus. Absolutely. I really believe that. I think if you're Blizzard, it would be silly not to build it. So many people want it. It might be not your most profitable endeavor, but it would get so many people back into the game, which would lead them to retail. A portion of them would be led to retail, and from that you would profit. I think it would be silly for Blizzard not to make Classic Plus, so I agree there. But I think it would also be silly for Blizzard to just say like, yeah, all private servers go have fun. I think if you're Blizzard, there's three options. The first option is you make a Classic Plus yourself. And I think that's the best option Blizzard has. And I think that's what they're doing, right? End of conversation. The other two options are you license Classic Plus and let other private servers try to do it well, and you make money off of licensing. And like that is an option. I just don't think it's as good of an option as option one. I don't think Blizzard would make as much money that way, and I don't think So they don't want to do it because of that alone. But I just don't think they have like, I don't think they want to just give up their IP like that either. I don't think it's a good long-term strategy. It's like, it just seems kind of troll. But you could either officially launch it yourself or license it. The third option is you just don't do it all together. I say you go with option one every time if you're Blizzard. Every single time option one is the move. It's like door number one, ding, ding, ding. It's like, why not both? I don't think you could do both because then you directly compete with yourself.
Paying them or tying them into the server list, so we have to get a sub.
They let them be a thing. No, I understand what you were saying, but I don't understand the logic onto why that would be a good thing, right? Compared to, so like what you're saying is go option number two, right? You're saying like officially license them, make it so they have to pay. You still have to play a sub. Like you make it official. You're saying they should go with option number two. I think option number one is just like way better. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Option three, so it's 100% going to happen. I don't think option three happens because Blizzard is in the business of making money like every other business. So option three makes them the least money. I really don't think they'll do it. Or I really don't think they'll do option three, which is not doing it. So like I think they will make a Classic Plus, just to be clear. Like I think they 100% will because it's in their best interest because they're going to make money off of it for sure. Plus, they've already kind of like hinted at it over and over and over. So I think they're kind of like at the point where they kind of have to. Option two is better for the players, but will never happen. Option one is the realistic choice. Yeah, I think option number one, 100%. Anyone who thinks they won't is coping hard. I actually agree with that. I think it's more cope to say that Blizzard isn't doing Classic Plus at this point. I think that's the cope take when you look at like the blue posts and you look at the tweets and you like you look at SOD, you do all the math. It's like it's kind of cope to think it's not happening. Really, it's like that's the cope mindset right now, is that it's not happening. It's like open your eyes, it's happening, right? The intention is very clear. Yeah, it's 100% happening. I still wouldn't say 100%, but I'm gonna say like 90+%. Right, like there's still a chance. I don't know. There's something that we don't see, sure, but I would say like very high percent, very likely, very likely. Am I gonna go to BlizzCon 2026? Yes. You saw the population charts? Yeah, the population charts for SOD really prove his point of the concept, right? Was incredibly successful. It's just like people look at, oh, it had some bad patches, SOD sucks. But if you look at the numbers, it was incredibly successful. Someone in the chat says, I think licensing is a better option. It's risk-free for Blizzard. That's true. They won't have to spend resources and people on the continuation of Classic Plus, but they still make guaranteed money from the licensing, whether the license servers do well or not. I think everything you said is true. I don't know if I would agree that licensing is a better option because of those things, but I think those are the reasons for licensing. Right, yeah, it's less risk, and you can kind of just make your guaranteed money. Sure, but I think doing it officially long-term would be more profitable still. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Can you explain how successful SOD was? Classic SOD rating population charts in phase 1, 500,000 weekly raiders. I'll explain that number is a bit nuanced here in a second. Classic era, not classic era, sorry. Classic, like, wait, not class mob. This is the chart I'm looking for. Classic mob at like this peak 2019, like million viewers on Twitch, peak rating was 489,000. Now these numbers are a bit skewed. Let me explain. The numbers for SOD were skewed because you only had to hit level 25. A lot of people could hit 25 easily in raid, and then people had a bunch of alts, right? So this is counting alts. So I'm not making the claim that SOD is as successful as 2019 Classic. That's not the claim I'm making. But the claim I'm making is this is still a ton of people for something that was announced at BlizzCon and came out 2 weeks later. This shows an incredible amount of interest. Now, when it went to level 40, you have a drop off, but 327,000 weekly raiders is still the equivalent nearly of Burning Crusade. 40 content in SOD, or was it 30? No, 25. 40, right? Level 40 content in SOD had almost an equivalent amount of people rating as TBC. That's proof of concept, right? That is proof of concept. Even though, yeah, it cut in half. It's like, well, yeah, players had to level more. People, needed to quit, blah, blah, blah. Now, when you look at these numbers here, this looks really bad on the graph. But when you're looking at it, 88,000, 86,000, 88,000, 85,000, a lot of these close to 80,000 on the graph. Yeah, it's not 500K peak. But when you look at like what 80,000 means, when you look at like classic era and there's 17,000 people rating each week or 11,000 people rating each week, you look at MOP or like end of kata with like 60,000 end of kata, 120,000 mid kata, and then start a MOP is like 200K. We're talking end of SOD had similar rating numbers to end of kata, still proof of concept, right? And then you see it die here. It's like, well, yeah, no one wants to raid because Blizzard decided to stop progression for the game. So these numbers make sense. These numbers make sense. These it all makes sense when you think about it and frame it. So hopefully that answers your question. You passed by Wrath doubling it all. Yeah, I mean Wrath is people love Wrath, man. People do love Wrath. Here, the thing about Wrath is it's probably people's favorite expansion behind Classic, or you could even make the argument that more people like Wrath than Classic based on this chart here. There's a lot of nuances though, right? Like Classic WoW peaked rating here, but you had to level to 60. So when you look at number of people playing Classic WoW, not rating, but playing, and Classic WoW is about the leveling experience, you could make a real argument that there was more people playing Classic. Because how many people actually hit 60 and raided on Classic versus in Wrath, you can hit max level in a day or two and hop into the raid, right? So the numbers, these are just rating numbers. But what I was gonna say is, no matter, like Wrath is really good. We all agree on that, right? It's a great expansion, like Wrath owned. But look at what happened with no content updates. Boom. This is what happens to a great expansion when it's left with no updates. This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens. We know what happens. That's why you need the plus part, right? It always will fall off. It will always fall off. The harder they fall, right? Yeah. So that's why like the plus part is very, very important. It's not just like, oh look, WoW peaked in Wrath, so we should have Wrath forever. I think that's the wrong conclusion to draw.